Greetings, welcome back. All right, so tonight's a late night-ish. I would imagine on the East Coast you get a notification for this day's games. You're going to be like, oh, there's only the 4 games. Why did I leave notifications on, right? Tomorrow, as it stands right now, according to the scheduling, all the games are over by 7:30 Pacific tomorrow. So that's weird. That would mean tomorrow's review, power rankings, and preview for Sunday could all be done by, 10 o'clock? Fingers crossed on that one. I'd cross them if I could. You guys know what I mean. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start things off with Calgary in against Montreal. And, of course, for the Flames, they really need to sweep these games against Montreal. With tonight's turn of events, they're now 6 points behind the Habs. And of course, the Canucks, who are starting to play on Sunday, really rooting for the Flames in this one. So, first period, Allen versus Markstrom. Markstrom, who had owned Montreal coming into today, that changes. The Habs with a 2-on-1. Tanev blocked that. The Flames would press. The Habs would clear it. The shots were 4-0 Calgary at 3 minutes. But Jake Allen was very sharp in this one tonight. So this was, his 7th game in a row. It's possible that in their next game against Ottawa that Carey Price plays, although I don't think so, but it's possible Price plays the next one. The Habs pushed back, evened up the shots. Markstrom, of course, good so far in the first period. He was 4-0 against the Habs coming into this game tonight, so there's that in the back of your mind, right? The Flames get a power play. That wasn't successful. Romanov then hit Mangiapane, which caused a bit of a scrum. And Romanov's kind of a throwback in defenseman. Like I had expected, I don't know, there's more of a dynamic player I was expecting. Romanov's much more, and again, I know how this sounds, but it's more of a North American style that he plays, and longtime hockey fans will know what I'm talking about. And it is a compliment that he plays a physical, sound game defensively. Last minute chances then for the Flames, and with 14.5 seconds left, the Habs get a power play. So we go to the second period. The Flames finished off the kill from that. There was another Habs power play that followed. Markstrom stops a chance for Toffoli. The Habs were 0 for 2 at that point. They would not have another power play. But then it's Toffoli who scores from Suzuki and Kulak at 9:32. So Tyler Toffoli finally gets his 20th and puts Montreal up 1-0. Flames then went to the power play and they got 2 posts for their trouble on the power play. Two posts. Post for Tkachuk then on a Deacon close after that. So the posts got some work out. They might need to be repainted in between periods, both ends of the rink here. Press for the Habs in the final 2 minutes, but we come out of the second period, it's 1-0. So again, if you're the Flames, you just need to have one good period and win that third period. Allen denied Levo. Levo has 3 of his 5 goals this season against Montreal, likes playing Montreal. The Flames press at 3 minutes. Hanifin took a hit. He was slow to get up and exited. It looked like there was something up with his shoulder, but he would come back into the game. Lindholm then scores from Gaudreau and Tkachuk at 7 minutes and 30 seconds, and that went in off Sherratt's skate. So Lindholm's shot was actually going to go wide, and you could see Lindholm on the bench kind of being like, all right, I'll take it. It's a goal, but it was going to go wide. Toffoli and Backlund then got into the whole roughing side of things, so we get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. This is around where Hanifin returns, and then Armia scored from Suzuki. Now, it is possible that that's been changed by now to Toffoli because there was the debate during the game of whether or not it was Toffoli's goal. So if it was, that'd be Toffoli's 21st. If it's Armia's, it's his 6th at 15:45. So Montreal goes up 2-1. Flames would then try to answer. The goaltender would get pulled for the Flames with about 2 minutes left. They called the timeout with 47 seconds left, and Allen made some late saves to preserve the victory. So they win at 2-1. They go to 19-13-9. As I said, they're now 6 points up on the Flames. The Flames 19-22-3. The shots in this one favored Calgary, 13-6 in the first, 8 apiece in the second, and 8-6 in the third. Final shots 29-20. Both power plays go 0 for 2. Markstrom 18 saves on 20 shots. Allen 28 saves on 29 shots. So, yeah, entertaining game, and for Montreal, pretty big win. So there you go. Moving on. All right, so this is one of those things that happens. As a Bruins fan, and I've been a Bruins fan for decades, there are points in time where I'll watch them play and I'll say, that's it. That's it. They're in the zone. This is Boston. So last night they beat the Islanders, played very, very well. Tonight, I think this win might have been more impressive, and it's their third in a row, and it kind of feels like they're just starting to hit their groove again. So it happens. We'll see whether or not they can keep this going. Bruins wearing their thirds. I do love those thirds. Sorokin against Swayman, they've grown on me over the last year and a half. Initially, when they revealed them, I kind of, but they're nice. They're nice classic throwback. So it's Swayman versus Sorokin, battle of two goalies of the future in this one. Swayman denied Del Cole, and the Islanders would get used to being denied in this game. Shots were 3-1 for the Islanders at 6 minutes. Remember, last night's game, Boston came out and swarmed them early. The Bruins get a power play. That was a no. The Bruins woke up from that slow start. Both power plays, though, tonight were not very good. Islanders press with 6.5 minutes left. There was a power play for the Islanders with 4:32 left. Palmieri had a wraparound try, which was stopped, and that power play was killed off. Swayman looked very, very good tonight. There was a post on Twitter today from Kaylee saying, I don't know if she watches these videos or not, but she said, I get a feeling there'll be a lot of Swayman jerseys being bought over the next little while with Bruins fans kind of thing, like, and she's not wrong. Lazar had a chance that goes high, and then Pastrnak, with a little bit less than 3 seconds left, scores from Riley and Bergeron at 1957. I have to say, Mike Riley right now, in Boston, it's just clicked. I watched him in Ottawa, and he was good, but in Boston, it clicks. And it's another one of those things that sometimes with players, they switch teams, and it's just an immediate fit. And it feels that way with Riley. And then at 47 seconds of the second period, the other guy that's clicked is Taylor Hall. He gets a goal from Krejci and Kampfer. So Hall, Pastrnak with the goals, Riley on the board with an assist. He still doesn't have his first goal. It's coming, though. And so you get the feeling that right now, and we're less than a week out from the trade deadline, Boston's got to feel pretty good about what they did. And it's tough because, of course, in this compacted schedule, it's easy to look at the results right now and say, oh, they clearly won. We're not there yet. We'll see what happens in the playoffs, but things look good right now, right? Swayman stops a Palmieri shot. Lazar then with a net drive, Sorokin saved. And Curtis Lazar, I mean, I like the player, but again, you put him in a Bruins jersey and there it is. Bruins controlling the game now. The Islanders press. The Bruins would clear it. Beauvillier had a break and just flat out missed it, and McAvoy came back and played him. Part of what's helping is McAvoy being back makes a huge difference to the blue line for the Bruins. Shots were 10-2 for the Bruins halfway through the second period. Yeah, they were pretty much in control. Power play then for the Bruins, that was a no. The Islanders get a power play of their own, also a no. The Bruins get another power play. You guys get where this is going. The power plays just didn't have it tonight. Sorokin denied Riley from goal number 1 before that power play was killed off. So Riley's getting power play time as well. There's a press by the Islanders after PK ends. Swayman denies Palmieri. So Palmieri had his opportunities tonight, and Swayman said no. Last minute delay of game call. I believe that was Corrali, and the Islanders get a power play off of that. So we go to the third period. The Bruins would finish off that kill. More puck magic by Lazar. I don't know. It's bizarre. He's playing so well right now. The Islanders get another power play, and I watched him in Buffalo. I know he was good in Buffalo. I know he was pushing for more ice time in Buffalo, but this just feels different. You know, the Bruins are a deep team, and he's garnering a lot of attention without getting a ton of ice time. More saves by Swayman during another Islanders power play, and then Corrali goes back to the box, and there were way too many penalties being taken by Boston. It doesn't burn them tonight, but they have to watch this going forward. There was a shorthanded 2-on-1. Sorokin denied Bergeron, who took a fantastic pass for Marchand. Dangerous power play was killed off. Sorokin then denied Marchand after that. Sorokin had a really good game. Pastrnak fires one wide. They pull the goalie with 1 minute and 50 seconds left, and who gets the empty net marker? Lazar from Wagner at 1848. So Riley with an assist on the first goal. Hull gets the second one. Lazar gets the third. And there you go. Boston wins 3-0. They go to 24-12-6. The Islanders drop to 27-13-4. Boston now finds themselves 3 points behind Pittsburgh, and they have games in hand. So the shots in this one favored the Islanders in the first 10-8, and then it was Boston 12-6 in the second. Islanders 9-8 in the third. Final shots 28-25 for Boston. The Islanders 0 for 5 on the power play. Boston 0 for 3. Sorokin saves 25 out of 27 shots at one end of the rink, and Swayman saves all 25 at his end for his first career shutout. Kudos to him, and he's 5-1 in his young career. Not too shabby. And he had Vladar backing him up tonight because they gave Rask the night off. So the Swayman kid might very well be ready to be a regular NHL goaltender. And I mean, we knew this was Boston. Boston was looking to him as being the next starter for them. Seems a little early, but all right, sure. Go ahead. We'll go ahead and do that. All right, next up, Minnesota. So this game, there were a lot of swings in this, and there weren't a lot of shots. But it really was about quality more than quantity when it came to shots. And it didn't feel like a game that was lacking for shots. It really didn't. So it was Jones versus Talbot. And then at 3:32, Hurdle, as the Sharks came out of the gate very strong, scores from Šimik and Vlasic. And at 5 minutes into this game, the shots were 4-1 in favor of the Sharks. Again, they're up 1-0. They're getting all the shots. It's looking pretty good for them, right? Turnovers were really hurting the Wild in the first half until Bonino gets a turnover himself. And at 9 minutes and 30 seconds, on their second shot, a loose puck, and he one-timed it in. It wasn't really a slap shot. It was more of a snapshot, but he threw it into the net. So there you go. It's a tie game, even though San Jose outplayed them to that point. The Sharks were keeping the Wild to the outside. There was a press by the Sharks with 4 minutes left. Hartman had a shot that deflected high. There was a late chance for Balcers that was deflected out. Balcers has had tons of opportunities the last few games for San Jose. They'll start going in. But it's 1-1 after one. Second period, first minute. Dumba with a high stick. They didn't call it. And it turns out that's kind of a key thing because then Minnesota scores, right? Zuccarello from Rask at 2:15. That was off of a face-off win for Rask. And then a minute and 5 seconds later, Parise scores from Dumba and Bonino. So at 3 minutes and 20 seconds, it's now 3-1 in favor of Minnesota. And again, that missed high stick on Dumba kind of changes things. Huge momentum swing overall in the game. Power play them for the Sharks. And there was a slash on Balcers where he was on kind of a break. I was kind of surprised it wasn't a penalty shot, only because penalty shots seem to be, handed out these days. So I thought, it'll probably be a penalty shot. Nope. The Wild then get a power play of their own. That was a no. Gambrell had a fast break. He fired wide on that. We go to the third period. There's a post for the Wild in the first minute. Then there's a three-way passing play by the Wild, which Jones broke up himself and sends the puck away. Quality shots, not quantity for the Wild. So, again, it was one of these surgical precision kind of games for Minnesota. Not a lot of opportunities, but they made them count when they showed up, right? Post then for Donato. Then the puck goes the other way, and there's a post for Johansson. Talbot caught Carlson's shot. And yeah, this is kind of how things went in tonight's game. There were a lot of posts, which don't count as shots. So it definitely means that the shot total's lower than what was actually being put at the net. Eriksson Ek then jammed one on net himself. There's a power play for the Wild shortly after that. LeBanc, as he came out of the box, gets a break. And Talbot made a huge save there. If that goes in, again, who knows, but it didn't. Then the Wild, there's a high sticking call against San Jose. And I think it was Hurdle that went to the box. But they looked at it, and instead of it being a 4-minute power play, they realized, one of the Wild players high-sticked himself, so that's not a penalty. So they wiped the penalty out. That's why the replay is there. But 30 seconds later, the Sharks did high-stick one of the Wild players, and they go to the box. And then what they did was they scored shorthanded. It's Evander Kane at 13:43. So that made it 3-2. The rest of that's killed off. There's about 5 minutes left in the game once it's done being killed off. They pulled the goalie with 1 minute and 50 seconds left. They also called a timeout with 27.9 seconds left. But Minnesota wins this one 3-2. They go 26-13-3 now as their record. San Jose, it's 18-21-4. It's just all downhill from here. San Jose outshot at Minnesota 8-4 in the first. Minnesota outshoots them 7-4 in the second, and then San Jose outshoots Minnesota 10-7 in the third. Final shots 22-18. It did not feel like a game with 40 shots in it. Power plays, San Jose 0-1, Minnesota 0-3. Jones 15 saves on 18 shots. It's not on him. It was the quality of shots. Talbot 20 saves on 22 shots, and there you go. Minnesota wins one. They hold on and they win it. and we'll see if San Jose has anything tomorrow to answer with. So, the last game of the night, speaking of teams that had nothing to answer with, we got the Ducks and the Vegas Golden Knights. This was so lopsided immediately out of the gate. And, yeah, it was kind of a rough watch, because you got the feeling that this was an exhibition between a National Hockey League team and an AHL team. And I don't know how else to put this, really. Gibson stopped Tuck early. Things get scrummy 4 minutes in. Not an overly emotional or dirty game particularly. Vegas dominant in the first half. In fact, at 9 minutes, the shots are 11-1 in their favor. Little did we know that was just the trend that was going to continue throughout the rest of the game. Volkov had a chance that was saved by Leonard. Gibson robs McNabb. John Gibson, the only reason this game isn't 12-0. Manson deflected a chance out, and then in the last minute, there was a chance for Manson himself. So, makes a nice defensive play, gets a nice offensive play. It's scoreless after one. Somehow, someway, this game is scoreless after one. Not long into the second, that changes. 9 seconds. Carlson from Smith and Marchessault. That line just, when it clicks, yeah, it can still be one of the better lines in the league, right? Fast break, no chance for Gibson. Right off the opening face-off. The ice is still wet. And then at 4:27 is Chandler Stevenson from Stone and Pacioretty. So it's 2-0. And I could just feel, well, the Ducks aren't scoring twice. So this game's probably done, because Vegas is just bound and determined to make it happen. Coughlin then nearly added another. There was a power play for Vegas that was killed off. The one thing that didn't click tonight for Vegas was the power play. And it is bewildering to watch. 5-on-5, this team is fantastic. 5-on-4, it's just not there. So the Ducks would get a power play. That was a no. Vegas gets another power play themselves. It's killed off. Of course, Stone and Marchessault were denied during that power play, so they had opportunities, but still, it's killed off. This is when I said Sweet Georgia Brown should be playing. So I actually loaded it up on my phone. The music played during Harlem Globetrotter games. It worked. It worked during this game. You could play, and I swear, somebody somewhere who does like the videos where you actually have the NHL footage, you can't monetize that, it's copyrighted. But just Sweet Georgia Brown during any footage from this game, and it works. It's just they're playing keep away with the Ducks. And I felt worse and worse and worse for John Gibson as this is going on, because he's watching this, probably thinking, do you guys want to try to get the puck, or no? See the way he's spinning the puck around on his stick? Just hit his stick. See the way that guy's just kind of standing there conversing with somebody in the crowd? Why don't you get the stick now? Why don't you get the puck now? Somebody get the puck. Never mind, it's in my net. I'll get it. So, yeah, it was a rough night for him. And then Raw gets a goal at 1938, and it was a turnover by Comtois in front of the net. So, no chance for Gibson on that. And I felt horrible. I felt bad for Comtois as well, because it was one of those ones where, where's the puck? It's in the net. And then he broke his stick. So, it's 3-0 after 2. And again, it was a much more lopsided game than 3-0 would tell you. And 3-0 tells you, I might as well go to bed. This game's done, right? That's what I would have done before I had a channel. I would have just basically turned the game off and gone, well, that's it. And played video games. It's Friday night, so I would have played video games or something else, right? Third period. Vegas gets their third power play. The Ducks were at 10 shots at that stage of the game, and Vegas had 39. 39-10 were the shots at this stage of the game. Just ridiculous. Shorthanded chance late for Jones. They did kill that off. Maybe next game against Vegas, Anaheim should just say, look, can we just play shorthanded the whole game? Because we seem to be good at keeping them off the board and not allowing a lot of shots. We even generate some opportunities. It's bizarre. Net crash by the Ducks at 7 minutes. Doesn't go anywhere. And then clearly Vegas takes it personally because McNabb gets a goal from Stevenson and Stone at 8 minutes. But that went in off Volkov's leg and his stick. So, yeah. And again, for Gibson, he has to be like, I'm having a hard enough time as it is. You guys don't need to help them score. So, yeah. Yurcho then tees one off. And again, this is right after it's 4-0, and they're still just teeing off on them. 7:22 left. The Ducks go to the power play. How? So Tuck is called for a penalty on a trip. He never touched the player that goes down, and it was going to be a breakaway for Tuck. But it's a penalty for Tuck because it's a trip. His stick never touched the player. The player fell down. So My theory is that he plays for the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, if you've been to Vegas, you know there's a lot of magicians. There's a lot of the mentalists as well. So he used his mind powers to trip a Ducks player, and that's why Tuck went to the box, because the ref went, you like Kreskin'd him or something, and you guys don't know who Kreskin is? God, I'm old. All right, so yeah, that was that. And the funny part is that as the referee's trying to announce what's happening, Tuck just skated by and yelled, no. Because, no. It's, I mean, I understand that players often, they protest. In fact, there was a penalty that could have been called in, I think it was in the second period against Evander Kane. They didn't call it. But Kane, as soon as the player falls down, he goes over and starts complaining to the ref. And this is one of those times where I'm thinking, this is where a referee should be able to go, yeah, you're going to the box. You're complaining too much. Clearly you did something and you feel bad about it. So you're going to the box. It's one of the things I've missed about Jonathan Toews not playing this year. Because Toews, there's some of that in his game too. And it is, I always find it amazing. I think that if a player just does this during the play and starts looking around, call a penalty. He did something. What am I being penalized for? You did that. Just, that's a penalty. Feelings of remorse. Feelings of guilt. Worries of guilt. Whatever you want to call it, that's a penalty. So, yeah. Gibson then threw his stick. So, Chandler Stevenson's coming in. And you can just see, like, Gibson's looking, just to me, this is how I read it. Gibson looking at his defense going, well, screw it. These guys aren't helping me. I've already faced how many shots? 50. That sounds about right. All right, so I'm just going to go out and I'm just going to check Stevenson myself. He comes out, Stevenson starts to go around him. He just threw a stick at him. That's a penalty shot. Kudos to Gibson for coming out and deciding, I'll just play the defensive side of it myself. All right, cool. I'll stop him out there. He did stop the penalty shot. So, full mark, hats off to John Gibson and his play tonight. And it was great. And I hope he has a sense of humor about it after. I do. Although I don't think tonight's game is going to be one that he's able to chuckle at all about for a while. This had to be a rough night for him. So then with 3:44 left, Vegas gets another power play. That was a no. So Vegas wins this one 4-0. They go to 30-11-2. So they have 30 wins now. For Anaheim, they dropped to 14-24-7. I don't think they're making the playoffs. Shots in this one are ridiculous. 15-6 in the first for Vegas, 23-3 Vegas in the second, and 14-7 Vegas in the third. Final shots, 52-16. So I do not blame John Gibson at all if he doesn't speak to the players in the locker room after that game, and if he just leaves. And if he's supposed to drive somebody else home, they can find their own way home. Like, wouldn't blame him. But he seems like a nice guy. I don't think he'd do that. Power plays, Vegas goes 0 for 4, Anaheim 0 for 2. Like I said, it's weird. The Vegas power play just doesn't have it right now. Leonard, 16 saves for his 16th career shutout. Gotta love that. And Gibson, 48 saves on 52 shots. He allows 4 goals, and his save percentage is .923. Yeah. That's why save percentage to me is a better indicator of how a goaltender played than goals against average. Because goals against average would say, well, Gibson allowed 4. But... And for Leonard, might have been one of the easier shutouts he's ever had. Really, honestly. Probably one of the easier shutouts he's ever had. All right, there you go. You guys are all caught up. Let me know your thoughts on these games, especially if you watch the ridiculousness that was Vegas and Anaheim. I mean, it was entertaining. It was definitely entertaining. And yeah, there was a lot of stuff that happened. But again, it was kind of a Harlem Globetrotters versus Washington Generals kind of game. All right, remember the previews coming up for tomorrow's games as well. I've got the board right here, all set to go, and keeping it nice and simple for tonight. Games start early tomorrow, so it'll be most of the day. The good news is, again, as I said, the games look like they are going to end pretty early, so fingers crossed on that. Let me know your thoughts, though, on these games tonight. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video, and hey, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.